Dwarflab has just made an extremely exciting announcement, and it's not one that I expected to happen for quite a while. Only 1 year after the original release of the Dwarf II telescope, the Dwarf III telescope has already been announced and it is available for pre-sale starting May 30th. We don't quite know the price point just yet, but we do have to discuss some very important things first before to even decide if it even would be worth buying in the first place. So let's take a look at the specs and see what is the difference between the two different telescopes. Is there a noteworthy difference? Is it going to be worth purchasing in the future, or should you just stick with your Dwarf II? Let's find out now. One of the most notable things about the Dwarf III telescope is definitely going to have to be its wider aperture. Now, with the Dwarf II, I believe it had an aperture of 25 millimeters, but the aperture of the telephoto lens on the Dwarf III is actually going to be at 35 millimeters. That allows for 116% more light to get to the sensor than the original model, the Dwarf II telescope. Now, they also released a video showing the color of it. I'm not sure if that actually is going to be the color black. It would look really nice if it was black. However, thinking back to their original campaign, the Dwarf II was actually at first advertised to be black, but they ended up going with a white color scheme. So we're going to have to wait and see if it actually is going to be a black model or if it is going to be white. Another notable thing is definitely going to be the internal storage space. One thing, you can no longer take out the SD card like you could with the Dwarf II telescope. That actually did put a risk out of damaging the SD card port, taking out the SD card, putting it back in, taking it out, putting it back in every single time you did an astro imaging session if you didn't want to use USB. So instead of them using an external storage 64 gigabyte SD card, it is now using an internal storage 128 gigabytes of built-in storage. Now, another important thing to think about is the batteries. In the Dwarf II model, the battery was able to be removed and be replaced if you wanted to have several extra batteries that you can just recharge throughout the night. However, the Dwarf III model now has a much higher battery capacity. However, it is not a replaceable battery, so you can no longer interchange the 2 different batteries or 3 different batteries. You now just have to use the one battery and either continually charge it throughout the night or just use it for a certain amount of time before you bring it back inside to recharge it. Now, another important thing to discuss is that it does have the same digital resolution of 8 megapixels as the original Dwarf II telescope did. However, it does have a higher focal length of, instead of being 100 millimeters, it is now 150 millimeters. So we should be able to get some more intricate details on things like galaxies and nebula. However, it does come with a brand new sensor, the Sony 678 Starvis 2 sensor. Now, this sensor allows for your astro images to have much more detail to it. It's a much faster sensor. It's newer. It allows a lot more different kinds of light to reach the sensor. So basically, now it has a more wide variety of colors that can be brought out with that sensor. So it is definitely a big, good choice that Dwarflab has made. It's going to make the astrophotography images come out way, way better than the original model, the Dwarf II. And another thing I do have to say I'm extremely excited about with this model of the Dwarf III is another feature that honestly, personally, I was asking for a really long time, and that was to be able to use the wide angle lens for astrophotography as well, and not only for just normal photography and panorama shots. So one of the things I'm really excited about, of course, the wide angle lens now also has a wider aperture, so it allows more light to be brought in. And I'm assuming that the reason that they did that, and they actually did announce this, I'm pretty sure it was today when this video is being made, they announced that we will now be able to use the wide angle lens to capture photos of the actual Milky Way galaxy, the band of the Milky Way, the arm of the Milky Way. So now we can get a much wider angle shot. Hopefully it's going to be stackable like the normal images of the Dwarf II, but it'd be really cool. No other digital telescope has been able to do this so far, taking wide angle shots of the Milky Way and being able to take deep sky images with the same unit. No other device has been able to do that yet. So for me, that's really exciting. I can't see the Milky Way very well here from my area since I do live in a Bortle 4 zone. But hopefully with this new Dwarf II function, I will be able to do that myself. Now, talking about light pollution, we have to remember that the Dwarf II had external filters. The Dwarflab UHC filter, the solar filters, everything was external. Now, something that's really exciting was I really like the fact that they kind of followed along the footsteps of the ZWC Star S50 with the built-in light pollution filter. So yes, you heard it right. Dwarflab is now putting a dual band filter inside of their Dwarf II telescope, along with an astrofilter, UV filter, and I'm pretty sure that's all the filters. I'm pretty sure that that pretty much covers it. But yes, we are now getting a Dwarflab dual band filter, which is not something that we had before. Hopefully, they're going to be able to make it in other sizes if it actually does work really nicely to be able to be used with other telescopes as well. Kind of like the Dwarflab UHC filter, it was a threaded on filter, but I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna stay, with the solar filters, having kind of a clip-on magnetic filter design is probably what I'm assuming that they're gonna continue to do. Another great thing with our astro images is we're no longer limited to 15-second exposures. Because they realize that the Dwarf II is able to be set equatorial, we now can use it up to 60 seconds of exposure time, which is, again, absolutely awesome because it's definitely going to change how well our astrophotography images come out, because it's going to change how much light we're able to gather in a certain amount of time before we start stacking the images. Another really exciting thing that I really like that they're going to have on here now is, again, something that we've all been asking for a long time, and that is the MOSAIC mode for the Dwarf II. Say you wanted to fit the Lagoon Nebula in with the Trifid Nebula, with the Eagle Nebula. We can now have several different deep sky objects in one frame. Of course, that's going to take up a lot more storage on your Dwarf II, which is probably one of the reasons that they're upping up the storage space of the Dwarf II telescope itself. But that's something I'm really excited about, the fact that we're finally going to get a MOSAIC mode. I can only imagine how much storage that's going to take up, but I can also only imagine how great of an image we're going to be able to get. Finally be getting a MOSAIC mode with a Dwarf II, with a Dwarf III, telescope. I'm pretty sure there might be whole new software, whole new firmware. They haven't really confirmed that yet. I'm not sure if they're going to continue updating the Dwarf II or not, but I do know that they're going to start putting a lot of work into the Dwarf III. I don't think it's going to get its own app. It's possible it could get its own app, but I'm not really sure if it will or not. Speaking of the app, we are now going to be getting a star map inside of the Dwarflab app, so we no longer have to type in coordinates. We can just simply slide, click, go to your deep sky object. You no longer have to go through the process of looking up coordinates and going all through all that hassle just to find your deep sky object. So that's something, again, we've all been asking for a really long time, and something I'm really excited about that we're finally going to have. The Dwarf III telescope is going to have an upgrade to its sensor, its processor, even its motor in order to get the best possible astrophotography image. Also, they're upgrading the lenses as well to help with the light dispersion, to make sure that the stars are nice and sharp and that all the proper colors are coming through. I think that pretty much covers all of the features that we know about so far for the Dwarf II. Of course, there is, for mainly photography, of course, I'm talking more about astrophotography features, but for photography, they're having the automatic stitching for the panorama mode, which is great because you no longer have to bring that into the computer to get everything fixed up. For bird photography, it now is having automatic bird detection. I'm not really sure that's going to work, but it sounds like a pretty cool feature, and it's something that I'm looking forward to trying in the future. But yes, it's just a whole lot of new, different features. Dwarflab has come up with a whole lot of new stuff. I'm really excited to see what they're able to do with this installment of the Dwarf Telescope series. This is the Dwarf III. Hopefully there will be more dwarfs in the future, possibly with a longer focal length, wider aperture. Who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see. Perhaps this is going to be a yearly thing that they come out with, but I'm really excited for what Dwarflab has in store with the Dwarf III, and I would say that it's definitely worth the upgrade for anybody who has been asking. I've seen a lot of comments on Facebook saying that why would I want to waste my money on something that I already have, something that's just going to be the same as everything else. Well, I have to say the Dwarf III is going to be a huge change from the Dwarf II telescope. Not much is going to be the same. Of course, the basic functions of it would be the same, but they're going to have a whole lot more features with the Dwarf III than they did with the Dwarf II. They're going to have a much better sensor, wider aperture, which means more light getting to the sensor, which means faster astrophotography, faster processing. It's just an all-around better device. So would I recommend buying the Dwarf III telescope? Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to getting it myself to be able to show you in person the difference between the Dwarf II telescope and the Dwarf III telescope in a future Dwarflab video. So let me know what you guys think about the Dwarf III telescope based on the specs that were shared within this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and leave a comment if you're excited about the Dwarf III. Clear skies, everyone.